Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
What up, y'all? It's Joe Budden, here to talk about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win real money while watching football. You can get up to 100 times your money.
Prize Picks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Just download the Prize Picks app and use code SPOTIFY. That's code SPOTIFY on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play a $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Let's hang out. Let's hang out. And let's talk about what Leslie's about. Let's hang out. And let's listen to two lesbians shout. Let's hang out. Let's hang out.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Hang Out, a place for the good, the bad, and the beautiful queers. From the West Coast, I'm Lee Holmes Foster.
I could not bring myself to write the good, the bad, and the ugly queers because we don't have any ugly queers here. Everyone is
I won't
beautiful.
ask you to categorize yourself as one of those either. At least not yet.
No. And from the East Coast, I'm Ellie Brigida. Thank you to all of you beautiful queers listening. If you're a new listener, welcome. We're excited to have you here. Here's what's happening this week. This week in the Lesdom. This Week in the Lesdom is a place where we can touch base each episode about things going on with the podcast or otherwise. And it is Pride Month, so we're going to kick it off with all of our Pride events. Lee, do you want to talk to us about Spirit Week?
Spirit Week starts today, everyone. Today. If you are not already dressed up and hitting that hashtag, you should check out our Instagram or our Twitter, because today is Dapper Day, and we are following that up with so many other days. So today we want to see you in your fanciest best, whether that's a suit, whether that's a gown, whether that's whatever makes you feel your fanciest. And we are going to have every day this week be another Spirit Day leading up to Porch Pride on Saturday. So let's talk about some of the other days that we have coming up. Tomorrow is Pajama Day. We thought we would do a stark 180 from Dapper Day into some nice chill pajamas. Wednesday this week is going to be Cosplay Day. We want to see those characters. Who's your fave? If you are, in quarantine with your partner, show us your OTP. We want to see them. Thursday, Snapback Day. Of course, a classic.
I will try to participate, but Lord knows this head does not do well with hats. You'll hear about it in this episode.
Ellie's going to try her best.
I'll do my best.
And then Friday is Flag Day. So that's right. Whatever your flag is, the ace flag, arrow flag, trans flag, bi flag, gay flag, lesbian flag, whatever you feel represents you, whether it's multiple flags or just one, we want to see you in those colors.
Wrap yourself up in that flag.
Yes, do it. Yeah. What we are going to be doing is we are going to be posting ourselves and sharing ones that we see this week on our social medias with hashtag Pride Spirit Week and hashtag Let's Hang Out. So send us those photos. We want to see all of your happy, proud faces all week long. And then we are going to be ending on Saturday with the party of them all. Tell us about Porch Pride, Ellie.
Porch Pride. Porch Pride. Our pride and joy in our hearts. We are going to be celebrating this Saturday, 1 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and YouTube, where we'll be live streaming with all of our amazing guests. I'm going to rattle them off as quickly as I can. We have Shana and Kris from Bad Queers. You're going to hear from them in this episode. We have Lauren and Nicole from Coming Out Pod. We have Dana Piccoli, our favorite fairy gay mother. We have two mommies and a baby, Naisha and Samantha. We have my dog Rambo, probably on the porch, and you can hear him right now. And we also have Kay Martinez, an amazing diversity and inclusion specialist, and is going to rock it on their porch in Boston. I'm so excited. It's going to be a blast. And Lee and I.
Oh, also we'll be there. Did you know?
You can hang out with us. We're going to be announcing the winners of the bidding today, so you will know who is going to be hanging out with each featured guest. If you haven't had a chance to bid yet, hop on to biddingowl.com/porchpride, bid on your favorite guest, get that virtual one-on-one, and all of the bidding will be donated to the charities that we have selected. So you can donate to a charity and get to hang out with some amazing LGBTQ people. It's going to be a blast. We'd like to give a big thank you to our Porch Pride sponsor, Harpoon Brewing Company. I know I'm going to be drinking some Harpoon IPAs on my porch. If you're in Boston, you can order Harpoon for pickup. We would love to see you celebrating with your Harpoon and hanging out on your porches. During the month of June, 100% of the proceeds from Harpoon's Pride shirts and $2 per 4-pack of Harpoon IPA will go directly to Boston Pride. So if you're supporting Harpoon, you also are supporting Boston Pride.
We want everyone to remember that the original Pride was a riot. Pride continues to be a space that is important for all marginalized identities. And we want to take this opportunity, A, to celebrate our Pride as the queer community, and also to help support the Black Lives Matter movements and all the protests going on. So it's a great cause, it's a great opportunity, and we're hoping it's going to be a great day.
It's going to be great. Also, it is with a heavy heart that I do have to tell you, Pride Month does mean it's towards the end of our season, so our season ends on June 28th, but we will still be hosting live events over the summer and starting on July 9th with Motherland Fort Salem trivia. So we're leaving you on the air, but we are coming for you in the best way possible with Motherland Fort Salem trivia July 9th.
You might not have heard Ellie and I ever mention Motherland Fort Salem ever in the world. But it's a show and we love it, and it seemed like people were excited about trivia, so we're going to do some Motherland trivia. We also had so much fun at Buffy Trivia last time that we, of course, had to bring you round 2. We had just questions lying around that we hadn't used already, so Buffy Trivia coming back for you July 30th. Do not miss it.
You may have noticed that we canceled our Schitt's Creek trivia on June 12th. We felt that people's attentions were needed elsewhere, and we want to be respectful of that. However, we do still want to celebrate Schitt's Creek, so we pushed our Schitt's Creek trivia to August 13th, if you want to join us there.
And then the next one that we have scheduled right now is August 27th. That's right, we're going all summer. We are going to be hitting you up with some She-Ra Princesses of Power trivia. So buckle up, everyone. She-Ra's coming at you.
So if you want to hang out with us for those trivia events, make sure you follow us on Facebook and check out our Eventbrite, because that's where you can register for those events.
In the greater Les universe, we also want to talk about a couple things going on. One of them, I'm sure many of you have seen, but in case anyone didn't, we wanted to give a huge, huge shout out to Kyler Lee, who came out. She didn't assign any labels to herself, and so we will not be using any, but she did come out as being part of the queer community and talked a lot about how meaningful the role of Alex Danvers, and especially Alex Danvers' whole coming out story, was to her on the show. And so we just wanted to give a huge shout out to her, welcome her with big open arms, because it's not like the queer community didn't love you already, Kyler, but we just, we love you even that much more now. So congratulations, happy coming out.
Yes. I also would personally like to shout out Vagrant Queen. I know a lot of our listeners have been telling us to watch it. I finally started watching last week. I had a few minutes to watch. It's a great show. It has an amazing queer woman of color as the lead, and that is so important, especially now. So if you're looking for some queer POC rep to follow and watch, I would highly recommend watching Vagrant Queen on Sci-Fi.
Especially right now, because I think it is still a question whether or not it's going to be renewed for a second season, so it's a great time to get those viewing numbers up if you're looking for something to watch.
That's what's happening this week. Back to you, Ellie and Lee.
Thanks, Ellie and Lee. We are so excited to bring you episode 18 of season 3, Bad Queers.
And we're thrilled to have some experts here to help us dive into the topic. We're joined today by Shana and Kris, who both work at Her, and you might know them from their awesome new podcast, Bad Queers, the podcast for people who feel like they came out of the closet and got placed in a box.
Thank you so
hanging
much
with
for
us.
being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. I've never been called an expert.
Yeah,
So
right? I was like putting that on
Jesus.
LinkedIn
That
right
might
now.
have been the best thing to happen this year to me. So,
You're welcome.
They're both wearing white lab coats, and they look very official.
The glasses are on the bridge of the nose, ready.
PhD
Notepads and
bad
pencils out.
queerdom. I don't know what you would call it. Bad queerology?
Ooh.
I like that. That was the winner. That was it. The sounds happened.
already.
That
That's it.
that got the sounds. That got the sounds of approval.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your podcast?
Yeah, so Bad Queers was a labor of love where we felt that so many people had been coming together and just sticking with these stereotypes that got kind of forced upon you as soon as you come out. It's just like, the snapback lesbian, the Vans lesbian, all of these things that you just came to. So we had actually been watching the new season of the L Word Generation Q, and that very last episode where she's talking to Roxanne Gay and asking a question and getting in her feels, and she stops and she's like, "Am I a bad queer?" And I was like, that's it. That's the podcast. We need to talk about this. So our podcast ranges from a bunch of serious topics to us poking fun at the LGBTQ plus community, where we open it up with Queer Urban Dictionary. We break down the news because you don't get to hear about that in everyday life. People, for some reason, take our advice. And we do unpopular queer opinions, and we shout out different LGBTQ plus brands, people, somebody doing great things. So all of it is to highlight and expand upon the experience, that it's not just one thing that we get put in this box of labels to go with. It's a whole fluid experience, and that's all we're trying to do.
Look, I'm in.
Yeah.
That's good, Shana.
Oh, thank you.
I know, did you prepare that? That was beautiful. That was beautifully executed.
I'm like literally here as her hype person, like, yeah, all of those things.
I do love it though, especially we'll get to it towards the end in part of our Q&A, the Queer Urban Dictionary. Like some of the terms, you're just like, I did not know that this existed. What was, let me see, uncork the pork?
I knew it was going to be that one. Kris, do you want to talk about it? Kris, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, that's when Shana introduced some filth to our podcast.
I'm sorry, I
didn't know that was going to happen. No, it was
We're
amazing.
going to talk about
I stopped and I was like,
things.
please
It comes back.
open with that
yeah,
definition.
so
That's all I
funny
wanted.
though. So funny. And it was funny because like, we'll do our pre-production and everything. And, I'll just like run through and I'm just like, okay. Whoa. I was like, what is this? And she's like, let's just start. And I was like, wow. All right. Yes, we're going there. So yeah, uncork the pork.
Yeah, I
Uncork
literally
the
hit
pork.
record as soon as she like processed what the title of the word was or the phrase, and I was just like, we are going, and we are starting right now. And you can just, that is probably my favorite episode we have recorded so far, is just opening with that.
That's
It's
great.
glorious.
Lee,
Clutch my pearls.
do you know what uncorking the pork
I
is?
don't, and I'm waiting for someone to tell me.
Yes.
Kris, do you want to tell?
No, I think that you should
Educate
stand
me, Kris.
behind
You've got the
your
white lab coat on.
word.
This is your job.
No, Shana needs to stand beside her phrase and define it.
Yes, so when you uncork the pork, it's basically when you want to go and finger a girl, but she has a tampon. So you have to pull out the tampon to then be able to finger her.
Uncork the pork.
Uncork
Gotcha.
the pork.
It's
Now,
just what it sounds
a question though, is there a different word if they use like a diva cup?
Ooh, that's a good question.
like. Next
I still
episode,
think
find out
Right.
what that is.
Right?
Yeah.
I still think it's uncorking. I still think it
Okay.
has
Gotta
an element
uncork
of
something.
uncorking.
But I mean, like a tampon resembles a cork so much more
Mm-hmm.
than like a diva cup does.
My God, Lee.
Just
you're
a
onto
question.
something. You're onto something with that.
I was like, next episode, we're going to have
Yeah.
this ready.
Yeah. Right.
A question not prompted by any particular circumstances of my own current life. That's just,
These
I'm
are
just
fair.
curious.
Look,
Yeah.
I'm just asking for science.
this
that's
is
all.
research. This is
This
absolute
is
research
research.
that we need to go and investigate with our lab coats and glasses. We're ready.
And as a proud scientist type person, I appreciate it.
Yes. Speaking of investigating, let's dig in. What is a bad queer?
Ooh.
Hard question, but
Well, what is a bad queer in the context of your podcast? Let's put it that way.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's just, there's a respectability within the Black community where there's a right way to be Black, or it used to be, that's slowly fading away. And I feel like we kind of have that in the queer community where there's kind of a correct way to be queer. And there's, as Shana mentioned, like you come out of the closet and then you are right into these labels that you just kind of have to go with. Like you don't really get to think about it or anything. And I think, especially with the younger generation, it's a lot more fluid. People could just be whoever they want to be. And that may seem bad to some people, So I think bad queers to me, or just being a bad queer, is being true to yourself and not kind of looking at what's going on within your community to kind of put that on yourself. Like, oh, okay, I have to be this way because this is what my community is doing. This is what other people within my community is doing. So I literally have to do this. And I think for the longest time, it's been that way within the queer community. And we're kind of slowly getting out of that.
I also really like it because it's so funny. I feel like we're like opposite sides of the podcasting coin, in terms of like what our podcasts do. Because I think Ellie and I started this podcast with the idea of like, we as a community have so many shared experiences, And so it's like, let's do something to talk about those. Like, what are the things where like, what are the similarities, kind of across the board? And it's funny because we have had people reach out to us, like we've gotten emails before where people are like, yeah, I don't know, like I came out later, or like I was married and like, came out in like my 40s and stuff. And they're like, I just feel like I haven't experienced everything that you talked about in this episode. And we're like, that's totally fine. Like, that's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to have experience. Like, there's a performative aspect to us coming on this show and acting like every single topic that we talk about is like a near and dear meaningful experience that we have experienced, that like we've gone through. I mean, of course that's not, it's like,
I feel like U-hauling's like the biggest one that like comes to my mind.
Right.
Where you're just like, we're talking about U-hauling and we're like, everyone does it. But like also some people don't.
Yeah, like some people don't. Like some people actually.
And like that's okay too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that. And it's been interesting so far with the feedback of people wanting to solicit and just give out their like bad queer opinions. Like, because there are some fiery bad queer opinions out there that it's just
I love them. All
right, well, you're still community, you're still family. You might be on the edges of what, a lot of us would agree with, but we're all fam. We're all family.
Right.
What are some of like, to you, the biggest ones that were the most shocking bad queer revelations or like unpopular opinions?
Oh, God. Shana, are we allowed to say the one that you told me about your friend with the adoption thing? Is that
please say it. Please say it. Okay, so this was one we actually haven't talked about yet.
Yeah.
But one of my friends wrote in and he was just like, oh my gosh, I have so many bad queer opinions. But one of the ones that he put out that we haven't discussed yet was that he said surrogacy is unnecessary. He was like, we have way too many kids in the world that need to be adopted, that need to be fostered. And he was like, as the queer community, we shouldn't be doing that. And I was like, ooh, this is going to open up a whole new conversation that we haven't discussed. Like ones that we have discussed, like Kris pointed out that she feels that the pride flag has too many colors.
It does.
And we've had so many, like, I don't think we've had anybody really disagree yet.
No, not with the pride flag. I again, and great for this podcast because there's a small little community of us that are like, hey, I know that each, color stands for something. It's great. I'm going to be honest. I just wish that we could just talk redesign, maybe get a little bit more creative. We're very creative. So I just feel like maybe
pick
we
a new
should,
palette, maybe.
Yeah, let's,
what do you want it to look like?
I don't think it should just be up to me, but I just don't want all of the colors. Like we were just like, all of the colors. Yeah, throw them on. And it's like cool as a marker. But I maintain that even the pride flag emoji isn't better than the rainbow emoji.
Oh, yeah,
like, you know what I mean? It's not even the best queer emoji in your phone. Like the rainbow emoji is better than the pride flag emoji. Like we could just do better.
I don't think I've ever posted the pride flag emoji, I'll be honest.
It's kind of lame.
I use the rainbow emoji every time.
Yeah, rainbow's way better. So I don't know. Yeah.
I am like Rainbow City though. I'm like when you're like too many colors and I'm like looking down at my feet. I have like my Converse on. They like have rainbow down the side and I'm like, yeah, too many colors. Totally.
It's so funny though because it's like, okay, so obviously we're prepping for this episode. I mean, we want to talk about like what makes you a bad queer. We're gonna get into it, but that's just while we're on it. Like my wife, her like number one thing that it would always be like, I'm a bad queer for this, is she's like, I hate rainbows. Like, I hate them. She's like, I hate everything being rainbow. I do not want rainbows on all my stuff. I don't want a rainbow on my hat. I don't want a rainbow on my hoodie. I don't, like, she would just hates rainbows.
She has a
and she's like,
community.
I know, it's like, it's hard to be gay and hate rainbows,
She
but you know.
has a community, and we are starting to see more of that come out. Like, we posted that unpopular opinion on our social media, and people were like, oh my God, thank you for saying it. And I was just like, this is why we made this podcast. Comments like that is to be like, look, come and find this connection. Yeah, our unpopular queer opinions have ranged.
Yeah.
I was like, from that serious topic to this topic to how much I hate Crocs, and I don't even know if that's a queer thing. Like, you know, it's
not,
just...
But it's that was a personal attack against me. And,
I don't know what you're talking
and
about.
the Croc community, but it was a personal attack.
I don't know what you're
and,
talking about.
that has...
Are you wearing them right now?
They're near me. They are near my feet. I'm sorry. I look down there. They are near me. They're comfortable. They're comfortable. And I, too, used to be Croc-phobic, but I overcame that. And I'm trying to get Shana to a place where she's at a Croc acceptance and at least not hating openly and all that.
So say you bought like rainbow Crocs. Where do these fall in this spectrum here?
Worst of
First off, Lee, I would not purchase with my money rainbow Crocs. Now, if Crocs wanted to donate,
hard-earned cash,
right?
It's buying no rainbow.
If they
Crocs.
came here, you know what? I would accept them as my own if I were given rainbow Crocs, but would not seek them out. No.
Secret Santa.
Wait, so what color are your Crocs?
Don't you dare.
I'm gonna do
dare. Don't you dare.
I'm doing it.
Don't you dare.
Secret
I
Santa.
have a black pair and I have a navy pair.
I've started something.
Right.
I apologize.
Yeah, she better not. She better not. I will listen. I will not go to the party.
You will.
The holiday party.
You will.
Nope. I will not go.
Because it's a work function and we get paid to be there. And you'll
I'm
be there.
sick already. I'm sick already.
I love
so months in advance.
I feel like we need to discuss the astrology unpopular opinion.
Well, wait. So, because before we actually started recording, turned on our mics and everything, we were already getting some throwing out the reasons that we're bad queers. Can we go through who is the bad queer? Who is the non-astrology queer in the space?
Ding, ding,
Because now I don't remember who accused who of what.
It's me.
It's you, Shayna.
It is me.
It's me too. So it's okay. I'm with you.
Yes.
But let's talk a little bit about how that makes you
I
bad
love
queer.
how in this Zoom squares, I'm, at least in mine, I'm right above Chris. And we both are shaking our heads like, at the same time, disapprovingly at the people to our left. The non-astrology.
Ellie, you don't even know.
In mine,
Mine's is
we're
top and
all in a
bottom.
row. Yeah, mine is all in a line, and we are sandwiched in between your disapproval.
Yeah.
Well, either
Yeah.
way, the disapproval
Brilliant.
is present.
Yes.
Brilliant.
We just want y'all to know yourselves on a deeper
Yes.
level. But yeah, sure, don't know yourself. Go ahead
Wow.
though. Yeah,
Wow.
explain your reason that you don't want to know yourself better.
Wow. Okay, Shade.
Yeah, no.
Wait, what's your
Shades
sign?
McGee. Okay, see, this is how this escalated.
Yeah, but
that
what is
question.
it though?
Because you already see, once you ask that question, you already like feel the judgment that is about to come based off of my answer.
Is it judgment or is that
It's
your
judgment.
insecurity? Because
It's
all I
judgment.
hear right now through my headphones is your insecurities.
Look,
You
remember
both
that
of them.
time that Robin said you needed to order new headphones? We need to get them upgraded. So you should go ahead and make that purchase.
I don't know,
Because-
Ellie.
yes.
Did you hear the insecurity? Do you hear
I
the?
did. It's
there's-
coming through my headphones.
Yeah.
as well, and these
Okay.
are really
Just wanted to
expensive
know.
headphones.
Everybody's
so-
gonna have to get new headphones. Y'all gonna check the reviews on these headphones.
Oh,
But
my
no,
God.
I hate when people come up and they're like, oh, hey, like, what's your name? What do you do? And then what's your sign? And it's almost like your sign just tells you all of the rest of the things about you when it's like, no, you don't know me. Don't base it off of this. And going through, I'm just like, no. And then they want to ask your moon sign and your sun sign and the ocean sign and your mom's sign. And then what time were you born? And I'm like, you don't need to know all of this about my life when I just met you. And then come through with judgment about it. It's unnecessary. Sit here and ask me everyday questions like you're trying to get to know somebody rather than just going off of that and being like, oh, like I've actively had somebody be like, oh, you're an Aquarius? Yeah, I can't date you. We're not compatible. And just walked off. I was like, well, you missed out. That's on you.
So is this the
No,
root
so
of why you
Aquarius,
don't
Chris,
like it? Yeah,
don't
this
even
is
tie this as
is-
a thing.
is
No,
this-
I
Just
saw,
kidding.
this is
I
the
saw
traumatic
the reels.
moment.
This is in the moment.
This is the traumatic.
This is in the
moment. Okay.
I'm just stating
All right.
facts of
All right.
scenarios that have happened in life.
All right.
Please and thank you.
I will say, I can't understand that. However, like I am also that person, so I'm so sorry. I told Lee.
Oh, we've done our co-star compatibility, and we're just podcast co-hosts together.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
But okay, I will say most often it confirms what I already know, which I like, because I have never been not compatible with someone that I like.
See?
But if there's something like weird going on, I'm like, why is there something weird going on? And then astrology confirms it.
Yeah.
So Ellie made us run our charts together. She made me download CoStar, create an account just so that we could see. And I will say, as much as I do also think that astrology is like mostly kind of bunk, we are platonically perfect for each other.
We have all smiley faces.
That's a beautiful thing.
It's smiley faces across the board except for sex, which works out great for us.
And see, astrology confirmed that, you know?
Yep.
You
would have them building a natural relationship would have confirmed that too, but here we are.
Which is old fashioned, but which is old half fashioned, but it's old fashioned. Right. You could have done it the old fashioned way and all that, but now you know. Like now you know.
Man,
well, I will say I didn't like
download an app to get all of my information.
I used to think astrology was dumb like growing up because it would be like they would just rotate the same thing to the different signs in my mind. I was like, didn't they just say this about Taurus like 2 weeks ago? But now, like, as, you know, more information has come out, and maybe there were moon and sun signs before, but there's, like, more information. So even the moon and sun signs, like, I think that is a more accurate insight into just how you are. It just helps you understand yourself. It doesn't mean everything is true. Everybody has different experiences. But there's a lot of things that just unlock stuff about yourself where you're like, oh, yeah, no, that's me and all that. So, you know. I'm going to do co-star with her. We have to do it.
You have to do it.
I have to know. What if we're not friends for real? Like, we should know that through astrology. Like, astrology should confirm that for us so we would know.
What if your whole relationship is a lie and just nobody has told you yet via an app?
Yeah.
It's always the question I ask myself at night.
Yeah, you know, because there's an app for everything.
What if everything I know to be true is false because of an app?
Man, I feel for all of those people in the world that have lived without apps before this and just never knew.
It was so hard for them.
It could have all been so simple.
It was so hard for them to know.
I have a question though for you, Shana.
Yes.
Do you like personality quizzes in general or no?
Yeah, I love me a personality quiz. They're just entertaining.
So that for me, I think is what astrology is. It's like a personality quiz where you like tell certain things about people and then you can dissect it and have fun with it. That's what it is for me.
But there's no quiz to it.
Yeah, it's just
you're already putting that
arbitrary.
Label. You just already put there.
But it's not arbitrary.
I mean, it's like an open book quiz.
I'm still up here with Lee.
Not like a quiz.
I'm still up here with Lee.
It's an open book quiz. There's answers.
It's okay.
It's like it's a waste of my time taking an open book quiz. That's what that.
Well, you just don't want to know yourself.
Here's what I would enjoy. Here's what like the absolute giant nerd of me would enjoy is like if someone knows if there is a study out there where someone has combined a personality quiz type thing where you self-report your understanding of like some of your own personality quirks or things or like what you portray externally versus how you feel internally, and also done then a correlation to people's charts. I would be so fascinated to read that study. That's what I want to see.
Okay.
Do it.
You're going to have to do it now.
Okay, yeah.
I've got nothing. I've got nothing but time these days, so you know that's gonna work out so great.
But I would venture to hypothesize the personality quiz would confirm the astrology. That's all I'm saying.
I would put my money on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, take that quiz.
Well, someone somewhere is gonna do this for like their thesis somewhere, and they're gonna send us their dissertation, and I will be very excited to read it.
You would have to do it with people who don't know their sign. You would have to do it with children. I'm sorry, I'm like debating the validity of this study. But
I don't think so. I think you could correct for it. I bet if you have two groups of people like who are into astrology and people who aren't, because I think you'd have to, right? To have like some sort of control versus like, are you answering that way because you think you should, or are you answering that way because that's actually the truth?
The chicken or the egg or the moon.
I'm just saying if I was designing this study, you'd have a group of both, okay?
All right.
Fair.
I get it.
Okay, let's talk about musicals, though. Can we talk about that? Because that was the other one.
Absolutely. Let's talk about musicals.
I just want to get it all out there.
Absolutely.
I just want to dig in.
put a movie
getting our
on. I
hands
don't want to
dirty.
hear people sing. I just don't.
What? Have you heard Ellie sing?
I mean, I don't want to hear people sing in a movie. So that's why I hate musicals. Like cartoon, and Shana tried to pull a fast one. I'm like, ooh, cartoon, the musical. That's fine. Children want to hear singing in movies. I did want to hear, Lion King was great growing up. I just don't. I love Grease. I love Dreamgirls. I forgot what the third one was that I liked.
It was a cartoon. It didn't count.
Oh, okay, that's why. Well, yeah. See, I don't come to movies to hear you sing about what's happening in your life. Like she's like, watch Friends. I was like, I don't want to hear them sing their life.
To ask you a
Ellie's
question, and I am ready.
This might kill Ellie. Like Ellie might explode.
It's painful. It is painful for me. However, I understand this perspective because, to be fair, like I'm a musical person and I've dated people who are not. And then I'm like, watch this musical. And they're like, this is weird as hell. And I'm like, why? They're just started to sing because they love each other. And she's like, can't they just talk to each other?
And that's me.
Like, no.
It's always more emotional if you're singing.
Exactly.
Emotion.
And I don't need that. I'm just like, tell them. Just stop. I'm like, everybody stop the music. Just talk. Let's get through this. Like, I was like, that conversation was probably about 5 minutes. But in the movie, in that musical, it was like, it felt to me like a 10-minute number where I'm like, God damn, it's like, is it 3 verses to this song or this conversation? It's just too much. Like, I don't
What
need
would
it.
Sister Act have been without
Sister Act wasn't a musical.
Yeah,
they had musical moments.
They sing.
They had musical moments. No, I'm talking
that's what
about
a musical is. It's talking with some musical moments.
I'm talking about a
Yeah, right
musical
there.
that's like throughout the movie where it's just like,
It was throughout the movie.
no, they didn't sing the entire
Sister Act
movie.
is a
I'm
musical,
thinking,
and it is on Broadway.
okay, I'll do.
I think what you're claiming the distinction is they sing because they're singing in real life. They're not singing as like on top of where normal humans would be talking.
Yeah, like there's
I
just
get it.
regular scenes of people just talking, which is fine. Like that's fine. Like I know I like music and all that, but I don't want to. Right? Ellie's gonna start rumors on here. She's like, Christian doesn't like
Chris
music.
hates music.
Chris hates music.
What are your thoughts on something like Hamilton, where there is no dialogue? All of the dialogue is just put to a beat, basically.
I'm gonna watch Hamilton when it comes out, or is it gonna be available on Disney Plus soon?
It's gonna be live stream.
So I don't remember when it's coming out.
Okay. I'm going to watch it because of the hype, but I will even say one of my favorite musicals that I didn't name before is The Wiz, which is like the Black Wizard of Oz. I love it. Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, a whole bunch of people are in there. And I watched it or tried to watch it a couple weeks ago.
There we go. I was about to say, you liar.
I stopped it. I was like, I love you all, but I'm so tired. Everyone has sung. We're not even halfway through this movie. I'm so tired. It's just too much singing. I have to work up to just like, okay, wow, they're gonna sing this movie, huh?
My question is, sorry, you said you like Dreamgirls, and I love Dreamgirls, but also Dreamgirls does have a lot of random talk singing. So what is it about that makes it like you're like, oh, that's fine, but
Let's dig
these
into
ones
that.
are not?
Let's dig into that, Chris.
The whole number, you know what number I'm talking about, like where they're all just singing at each other in the
On the stage.
where Effie gets replaced.
Yep.
And they're just singing words. Like, it's a conversation. They're just singing.
They're just
If
singing.
this helps, I haven't seen Dreamgirls in a while, and I do not remember that scene.
You know what scene it is.
I don't. Wait, what song?
It's iconic.
What song were they
Effie, we all
singing?
got pain. That's,
That was beautiful.
That was really good. That was good. Look, that was good.
I can't not. Now I need to sing because you hate musicals.
We're actually
know.
gonna have to
You're
take
gonna
a brief hiatus so that Ellie can sing something for us, and then we'll be back.
I could literally do that entire scene, but I will not.
Ellie's got the Cher wig sitting right next to her.
Right.
Do
And
you
then, right.
believe
Ellie's just gonna
love?
sing the rest of this interview to me. And I'd be like, ooh.
Do not tempt her.
But I feel like I had my girlfriend watch Dreamgirls, and she was like, I love Listen. Like, she loved the song that Beyonce does, obviously.
Yep,
She's like, I
naturally.
love that song. I loved a few of the other ones. She's like, you could have cut. She's like, I would have cut the rest of the musical where they're just singing at each other and just had the scenes where they sang and they were like meaning to sing.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
That was her take.
You know?
I disagree. I was like, the scene where they're on stage is the best scene that's ever happened in musical history. But it's okay.
Oh, wait, you guys are talking about the I'm telling you part, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
but it's
yeah.
the whole part.
Yes.
Gotcha.
There's part that segues into that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I mean, good scene. I like the movie. I haven't seen it in a while, but great movie. Just nah. Like I just don't want to hear singing throughout my movie. I just don't.
So you hate Rent, I'm guessing.
I don't even
seen Rent.
Actually, I've never seen Rent, but
Okay.
I've heard the songs from
The
it,
Rosario
so.
Dawson as a stripper.
But you keep saying that. I could see Rosario Dawson
No.
in compromising or sexual situations in other movies
But not
where
singing.
she's not singing.
Which adds an
But
extra
I don't want her
sexy
to
effect.
sing. I don't want Rosario. I don't want to hear her.
You don't know because you haven't heard it yet.
But I
You don't know
literally
she's
as
missing.
like me as a being, like my own stuff. Like I don't want to hear Rosario Dawson sing. Like I've never just been like, wow, I wish there was just a way to know how Rosario Dawson sounds singing. Like I've never.
Yeah, well, we have solutions.
I never
That's
sat,
why. That's why you've
you
never
know,
wondered
and
because
just-
we have the solution out there, so you didn't need to wonder. Because
When I
she's
found out
great.
that there was a solution to that,
It's like it's a diverse,
I kept it moving.
wonderful
I probably
story
turned on a movie
of real life that needs to be
that didn't
watched
have
and
singing
appreciated.
throughout. So
And that's you need to give it the
Should we
respect it
give you a
needs.
minute? Should we? We'll go. We'll come back.
Another thing, I think musicals.
I have an important question
Uh-huh.
because I mean I get, and I'm sure we're gonna dive into some more right after I finish saying this, but we can go back and forth on the validity of the opinions in all of these. What I'm curious about is why are there certain things that queer people feel stronger about than other things, right? Like astrology, I want to start there because I think that's a big one. I think musicals is going to be a little bit more split in the field. But what is it about some of these opinions, right, that really they have nothing to do with being queer? Why are they so tied to queerness?
Shana, you want to take this? Because I was like, I'll tell you why the musicals are.
Wow.
But
No,
yeah, go
I
ahead.
think, the queer community has to claim their space in areas. Like, we claim it. Like, straight people, especially, like, okay, so if I point out, like, Southern straight people have claimed camo, they've claimed the guns, they've claimed the hunting, they've claimed the trucks. They have done that. Where then we stopped and it was like, all right, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take the Subarus, we're going to take the Jeeps, and that's what the queer community is going to have. And what? Did you
this
appreciate
is
that?
my first time hearing this. I'm
I know,
just on
this
the journey
is
too.
a whole new...
I'm just on this journey
Shane
too.
is like,
with you
this is
guys.
the first time I've heard this as well.
Seriously, but I felt it in my soul. And I feel like there are so many things that we do just tie to as like for those things that are outwardly like astrology used to be tied into more, like psychics and witches and all of these things that were seen as like outside.
Well, witches we know canonically are gay, so that,
Exactly.
That's
So
fair.
That as well.
all of it just really ties into history, and that's all it is.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. And as we head into Thanksgiving time, I want to start by thanking my wife, Kelsey, who has not only listened to just about every episode of this podcast for 8 seasons now, but who also is the only reason I'm able to make time to record it every week. She takes the kids, gets them dinner, and gets them ready for bed, just so that Ellie and I can come on and yell about gay things into each other's faces for an hour. So here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people you're grateful for in your life, including yourself. I've been in therapy for a long time now, and one thing that's so important about therapy is how it teaches you to be more intentional. And being intentional about gratitude and how to show that to the people you appreciate is just one of the many benefits that I've gotten from therapy over the years. If you've been thinking of starting therapy, consider giving BetterHelp a try. I know how hard it can be to find time for regular therapy, and BetterHelp is designed to be flexible and convenient for your schedule. You can fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. If you want to start being more intentional about gratitude in your life, visit betterhelp.com/letshangout today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp, HELP.com/letshangout.
Let's hang out.
For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify, and when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm. For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
This episode is brought to you by Skinny Pop Popcorn. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Oh, so light and crunchy. Skinny Pop Original Popcorn is the snack you've been searching for. Made with just 3 simple ingredients: popcorn kernels, sunflower oil, and salt. Snacking never felt or tasted so good. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Give yourself permission to snack and pick up Skinny Pop Original Popcorn today.
No.
But how has it lasted this long, right? Like, how is it that now, like, I understand as someone
because
who
we U-Haul actual things.
Doesn't really see any real value in astrology, that if I go into a queer spaceman, I can tell you my chart, I can tell you my sign and my moon sign and my rising. Like, I know the answers because I know it's going to come up, right? And you have to know, or you're going to have to sit there and have someone lecture you about how you really need to, like, understand
I hate those lecturing
yourself
astrology people
via
though, too.
astrology.
Such a fact.
Yeah. Not
So
enough.
why is that? Like, why are there certain things? Like, how does it make you a bad queer to not be into astrology, right?
Yeah. You know what? I think with astrology, too, just as queer people, we're always looking to understand ourselves a little bit more and just, obviously more than other groups. And it's changing rapidly now. But we do try and label ourselves, or at least just have a better understanding, since we, had to kind of just figure that out, a lot of us in the beginning. So whether we gravitated towards astrology or obviously certain words like butch, femme, and just like, we like labels. We like understanding, or just further understanding ourselves and like being able to be like, okay, and there's community with that. Like, a Libra party is just so great to see when I meet another Libra. It's like, wow, family, like lost family, just like we understand each other. There's little, obviously different quirks and everything depending on how you grew up and just how you are, but it's a family. It really is. It's just like every Libra person is the same person, kind of the same person to me. We're just like friendly and around. So I think that's cool. It's like your little tribe, and we're always looking for tribe. We're always looking for labels and family and community. And I think astrology is such a active community, as musical and the drama community is, and we're all just very close to it.
It's also
great
like
segue.
it's a community that like brings its own extra set of labels to everything.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Like, cause it is funny. Like we did a whole episode with Lauren Flans from Coming Out Pod and talking about like the lesbian stereotypes, like what like what lesbian are you? Are you like a butch lesbian or a femme lesbian or like this lesbian? And Lauren and Ellie are both
Blue jean femmes.
blue
That
jean
was what
femme
we came up
lesbians.
with.
And we had this whole list, and I was like, I'm not on the list. Like, I don't fit. None of these are right for me, you know? And so we came up with a new label, or like I came up with a new label for myself on the episode, which is an andro femboy. And I made a shirt design for us because I was like, you know what? No one else is going to make the made up label that I just made for myself into a shirt. So I'm going to make a shirt for us. And I made the shirt design, and it literally is just andro femboy in a box. And I was like, because if I'm gonna put myself in a box, this is my box, right? And like, I want it. I want my box on a shirt so that I can wear it and then be like, that's me.
Yeah.
This is my box. Here I am,
Yeah.
right here. It's like literally drawn as heavy-handedly as you could hope to make it. But astrology does kind of bring its own little, you know, extra labels for you. Like if I go out and try to find a Pisces shirt, it's not hard to come by.
Yeah, and also I'm a cusp, which is like, I only learned what that was in the last 5 years, which is like, I'm a Libra Scorpio cusp. So my Scorpio friends, I ask them, hey, what are some negative traits that we have? And they tell me, and I'm like, oh my God, some of those are me. And so I am lucky enough to have community with Libras and Scorpios. So my God, like Shana, if you only just took the dive into this magical world, you might be a cusp.
I wish
not even
everyone
know.
could see what this call looks like right now.
I'm trying so hard not to be like, that makes so much sense that you're a cusp of Scorpio because I'm a water sign too. And so, of course, we both are water signs, even though you're on the cusp. Like,
see? There's so much that you guys are
stop
leaving.
it. Don't let it come out.
Bottle it, Ellie.
See? So yeah, like it's just, and then even for me, like it came up during our podcast, diet stud. Like I've always felt like a not really
Do you
quite
need a
there.
shirt? I'll make a shirt for you.
I do need a diet stud shirt.
Yes.
People have it's
Okay.
resonated with folks. I never felt that I was the most masculine lesbian, and when I was growing up, it was like we were in that time of like either or. Like you were either a hardcore femme or just like a hardcore stud, and I was just like, oh wow, not either. So yeah, like, and I remember being in college and going out to queer parties, and I would have somebody ask like, because of being just kind of, I was just like a gay man, really, honestly, in college. Like, I kind of prided myself in that. But then it gave off not the wrong signal, but people were just like, okay, so what are you back then? Like, they couldn't place me. And I was just like, I'm fly. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I was like, do you like my outfit? Yeah. I was like, I don't know what you're asking. So, yeah, we're always going to just find new ways and all that. And we're just very close to once we do self-identify or find more community, we cling on to it again. Libras and Scorpios.
You cling on to it, and you also, like, I do have to say there is something, because especially listening to you describe, like, diet stud as like, this is a thing that's like me, and it's like such an easily digestible thing to like give to someone else, to be like, here's how you can understand me better, and like I wonder if that's also a huge appeal of the astrology.
Yeah. Listen,
little boxes for you.
My wife sends me all of these Pisces things, and I was just like, my God, thank you so much. I could go somewhere and look. I could go to an app and just know more about my wife. Just like, my God, you're so moody, but it's not your fault. It is not your fault. You have so many feelings, Pisces. You have so many feelings. Like, and I'm able to do that.
We have a lot of feelings. It's so true.
Oh, you're a Pisces? Oh my God.
Oh, Ellie and I both are.
Oh my God. Oh, so many feelings, you guys. My God, so many feelings.
We need to talk about them every single week.
Yeah,
I mean, look, we recorded like a solid 2-hour episode on Portrait of a Lady on Fire. We have a lot of feelings.
I mean, that's understandable though.
Yeah,
That's a solid.
nothing but
needs that
tension in that
2-hour
movie.
breakdown. Honestly,
Yeah, nothing but tension in that movie.
so much
I
tension.
regret nothing.
That movie is 2 hours of tension and closed captioning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we want to talk about musicals, or do you want to say why you're a bad queer, Ellie?
Okay, yeah, I'll talk about why I think I'm a bad queer, because I was thinking about it today. I was like, all right, we're doing this episode. what is the thing that like I'm like, I just can't do it. It's not in my queer identity. And I can't wear hats. And it really, people try to put me in a snapback, tell me to wear a beanie, and I'm like, I can't do it. I don't have the head for it. What am I gonna do? Should I give up?
Wow.
I think you bring me with you places because I look great in hats. Yeah, I'm just saying.
That's like so bad.
This is me. I could see you in beanies.
Yeah, I was like, have you tried everything? Like,
See, now you're
a lot of hats. Yeah, I'm like, Warby Parker has the virtual lenses. I'm literally in my head just putting you in all these different hats.
It's like when you're building a sim.
Yeah.
We should try it. Lee, can you do that? Lee, I'm like, Lee knows Photoshop. I'll just take a picture of myself.
I can't guarantee the accuracy of these results.
I don't need it to look good. It just needs to look funny.
Okay.
You know?
I know. I was more so that like you sounded sad that you couldn't wear hats. So
I was like, Alicia, are you sad? Do you want to be in the hat community?
Then go for it. Like I'd never, but I also have a fro that gets in the way. So
I think I've accepted it. It's just like, when people are just around you all wearing the same thing and then you're like, should I be wearing that? And then you sort of realize like, no, I can't wear hats, but also I don't really want to wear hats.
I still feel like there's a hat out there for you. It only takes one. It's, honestly,
like, do you be happy?
I think we've discovered who is the pusher of the two of you.
All right, so next time I see Kris, we're gonna go hat shopping.
We're gonna go hat shopping, and it's out there. All you need is
you
one.
all know. Yes.
I will say, I mean, sometimes you just have to put some effort in, Ellie, because, like, I do love hats, and I do look great in hats, but I'm also, like, approximately the size of a 12-year-old child. And it is very hard sometimes to find hats that are, like, me-sized. So you gotta work sometimes, for that look. You gotta
want it. I was just looking around my room.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even see a hat. But I'm like, can I find one? Let me just see, just for shits. I probably won't find one, but just to show you.
Okay. I mean, I feel like we could find Ellie a hat. Like there's
we're gonna paint a word picture for our listeners as Ellie goes to find a hat.
Yep.
I want like a big sun hat, Ellie. Just get the snapbacks I made us.
I can't tell.
Oh, it is a sun hat. It is
so
a sun hat.
I can't put my headphones back on.
I think the problem is you need a hat that's not from like 1958.
I was gonna say that is a 1940s
like
summer hat.
Be in the Notebook in a convertible, just like going down the beach.
Yes.
Yeah, this is full. Like if you added a rainbow to Notebook, this would be it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So
like Ellie, not that hat, not that one. Not that is not the one.
We'll get you a nice hat, Ellie. We'll get you a nice hat.
I told you it was not going to work, and this is why, because I've been choosing the wrong hats.
And it's purely aesthetically. I just don't think this is the era for that hat. like,
can somebody take a screenshot of this?
I did. Don't worry, I got a bunch.
Okay, great. All right, I'll be back. I'm going to take this hat off.
I know how our social media game works, Ellie. I got screenshots. Don't you worry. Don't you sweat it.
This is quality content right now.
I know. Here I was like, no, Ellie could find a hat.
Podcast visual gag. It's just they really land so well.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think a little deeper about this.
It's gonna be a lot harder.
Chris regrets saying that now.
Yeah, I was like, I should probably walk that back a little bit. Like, we could maybe find you a hat.
Okay, but now I have to ask Ellie, why are hats gay? What makes a good snapback so queer?
Exactly, like it doesn't have to be, but I just feel like it's like the flannel, right? It's like there are like certain aesthetics that we latch onto as a flag, and especially as a femme presenting lesbian, I always am like trying to find a flag. Not a pride flag, but like like this shirt I'm wearing right now. I feel like this is a gay shirt, but like
I think that is a gay shirt. That is a gay shirt. Yeah, it's like it's a gray shirt, you guys, and it has like the contrast sleeves that are black, but it's like fitted. So it's like, hey, she may be able to like fix your sink, but she might also cycle on the weekends. Which I don't know if any of those examples help you.
Honestly,
but
I think cycling on the weekends is better than what I was coming up with, which is like she also may be going scuba diving later.
She honestly could. She really could in that. So.
Well, I think the thing I've realized in this episode is I really need to rethink my wardrobe. So I'm gonna figure that out.
I would wear that shirt though. I would wear that shirt.
Yeah,
that is so a shirt I would wear. So yep.
So here's what I love about this, because I think you have this whole podcast that's kind of based around the idea of like, it is becoming more and more okay to be a bad queer. And I think it also coincides with like it being a little less important to flag so desperately, you know? Like, I do feel like there's a difference in terms of like what does it mean? Like, how do people find community and how do we fit in those communities now versus 30 years ago, you know, when it was like, okay, well, you're not in your flannel, like, you know, and your Birkenstocks drinking a beer by your Subaru. Like, how will anyone ever know you're gay, right? Like,
yeah, like, how did we signal back then?
I mean, I think it's definitely different than now. And especially it's different than now in terms of like other ways that you can find that community. But it is funny, like, I don't know. I'm curious that I want to get into like the difference too between like, it's not like you wear your interest in astrology on your head, you know? So like, what's the difference between that versus like the purely aesthetic things? I'm so curious now. I want to dig into everything. This is what's happening.
Well, I think a lot of the reasons why we also don't feel like we need to flag anymore, and a lot more reasons why more people are becoming like the bad queers that we talk about and joke about, is that there has been an increase in acceptance. There has been an increase in visibility. There's been an increase in like, hey, we out here. We're not hiding in these closets anymore. We're not in these specific spaces where it would be deemed okay. But people still want that essence of like before, when we had to seek out community, it was like you found it, you latched onto it, it was great. And people still want that deep connection, but it's starting to spread. And that's where like we're not having to fit those stereotypes of dressing a specific way. It's like, yes, you can do that, but there are certain things that you're still going to want to converse about. But yeah, but now it's like people still want to have that community. They still want to have that connection, but the topics and the conversations are becoming a bit more open. Like, yes, we're still going to have those snapback lesbians because now they've fit into it. But when you throw it back, it's like, oh, okay, I had to wear that flag of like the snapback with the flannel because it showed that I was more masculine, and more masculine meant this definition. And now it's like everybody's fluid, everybody can sit, and it's not taboo to go and shop on the men's side of the store and get double looks because you're a girl going over to the guy's side. And there's so
or
much...
the little boy section if you're the size of a 13-year-old. You know, no judgment anyway.
This cheaper prices. My son.
Cheaper prices. Yeah. And I think because so much of that is just growing, people aren't feeling like they have to show up and show out all the time, which is great, because it's just like, yes, go out and be every day. Like, yes, there's still going to be people who are going to be extra. There's straight people who are extra. Like, let us be able to go and choose whether or not we're going to be extra, or we're just going to be able to go out and truly unapologetically be ourselves, and whatever that looks like.
Yeah, it's like we're getting further into like real personalization now. Like before, it was just like we were just struggling just for acceptance and, you know, equality, and we still are. So, but now even just with even fashion, for instance, like there's just so many ways to express yourself. Like before, you did have to wear certain things as to kind of just like throw it out there, where it's just like, I gotta put this hat on or whatever, or just go through my old photos on Instagram. Like literally, if you go down there, it's like you had to wear certain things. Now, I mean, going back to the kids, like I said this before on our podcast, but I was like, aside from the Tide pods that they were eating in the cinnamon challenge, they've really gotten a lot of things right with just being accepting with everybody. Like they could care less. Like my younger cousin, who's 24, hates labels. She doesn't consider herself a lesbian, but she is queer and everything. So I'm like, what are you? And she's like, I'm me. Like they don't like labels at all. Like they just like to be themselves. And she could swing from, wearing something really masculine to something feminine and everything. And that was, that's a change for, at least that I've seen in, you know, my generation, just things in times changing and things being more available and people being accepting. So our generation's getting more accepting. What I still do find, and this is no knock to the older generations, but we grew up with a more rigid kind of community and like labels and everything. So even now, like you'll have somebody like an older lesbian, I see that happen a lot, where they're like, they kind of roll their eyes even with like pronouns and stuff like that, because that's not even just of their era. Like they could not understand. They're just like, what? And it's because it was very rigid back then. Whereas like me, like new term comes up, I'm just like, well, great for these folks. New fam. Yeah. Come on in and everything. It's just, it's expanding. Things are expanding. Language always evolves. So yeah.
Okay, so now what a great transition, because of course, Ellie and I were talking before you both hopped on the call about what was funny for the two of us, trying to go through and figure out, like, okay, what makes us bad queers? And I was saying, like, I literally went on and I'm like Googling, like, lesbian stereotype silly things, right? And I'm like, no, I'm that, no, I'm that, no, I'm that one too. Like, I was like, okay, how am I a bad queer? And I think, like, the top or, like, first one that, like, immediately came to mind is, like, well, I'm, like, monogamous and old and lame and married, right? Which, like, in some ways, with exactly what you're saying now, where, like, there is this, everything is fluid and everything is open and everyone is kind of, like, past all these old, like, archaic ideas. But then in some ways, like, now that's become the thing that's, like, made me the bad queer, where I'm like, oh, I'm not in a free, open, poly relationship where we're, like, dating around and seeing other people.
What's
wrong
with
like,
you?
What's wrong with me? Exactly, right? So, like, how does that balance in there, right?
Yeah. I mean, well, you know what? It still just is, like, for me, just preaching acceptance or just being okay with, like, you know, bad queer is tongue in cheek, because it is, like, there's no such thing really as a bad queer. Like, there really isn't. There's no right way to queer, you know? Like, I've said before, I could name.
I want a shirt that says that now.
What? There's no bad. There's
no right.
All of our shirts. Just make.
There's no right way to queer.
Are more than happy to get you on that. Don't worry.
Right. Exactly. But there's actual bad queers within our community, and I think we should think about, like, that in terms of their actions or their beliefs and everything. Not going to call out the wrong name, but I always reference, like, Dick Cheney's daughter is a queer woman, and we agree on nothing. You know, there's Peter Thiel that will probably do he does fuckity fuck shit, and he's a queer man. So it's just like, you know, there's actual bad queers out there that's not for community. And I think the things that we get hung up on aren't really, those are just, like, preferences in most cases. So
some people don't like musicals and we accept them anyways.
Yeah. Just let me know when you're putting, like, I'll still come to the party. I'll still hang out. Just let me know when y'all are going to pop rent in. I'm just going to, you know, then just going to take a break.
You're like, I'm just going to grab some snacks.
I'll be like, it's how long? Okay. Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back.
I do love, though, that, like, the point is there are no bad queers, right?
Yeah.
Like, that is really the point. Like, we're obviously, we're joking about it, but, like, whatever you want to be, whatever label you want to have, like, if you're a part of our community, like, you're not a bad queer.
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically it. And that's why we built it, because it was just, there's also so much, especially because Kris and I have discussed this before, where cancel culture is just so rampant right now. And you could say one wrong thing and a group of people are just like this. And it's like, we need to be able to, especially in the queer community, learn to laugh at ourselves. Like, you know, everybody can go out and make different straight jokes and how their behaviors are and this. And I feel like that's an area that people still tiptoe around, because we've started to get into this area of, like, yes, we have gay marriage in most places, but, you know, still in 68 countries, it's still illegal to be gay. Like, you know, things like that. And so we want to start the narrative of, hey, calm down.
Right.
Like, we can sit and talk about this just like everyday people sit and make these terrible movies and joke about stuff and do all of these things. It's almost like everybody holds the queer community to such a category of, like, we need to be this perfect thing in this perfect little box and we need to be able to define you. And it's like, no, you need to feel comfortable defining me. I can define myself however I need to. And when we can sit and actually poke fun and discuss stuff and healthily disagree, like, we sit and banter and go back and forth all the time, as we've seen even just during this recording. But people don't get to see those healthy arguments. It just all of a sudden just, like, slippery slope into, like, this person's canceled, they're going to lose everything because they said one thing. And it's like, chill. We can joke about this. We can
agree
talk
to disagree.
about this.
It's fine.
We can agree
fine
to
bring
disagree.
that back.
And that's what I think is a narrative that needs to happen in the LGBTQ plus community, because everybody just takes it so personal because we fought for so long for these things. And it's like, hey, a part of this fight means that we get to progress and start talking in this way and start just being open to be ourselves, but also being open to laugh at ourselves. So
yeah. It's also, what I love about that too is I feel like it's just because I know, like, you know, we have gotten those kinds of emails where, like, people feel like when Ellie and I make some of those comments that it makes them belong less. you know? And I think it's like, it's something that's also hard to explain. And I know it's going to be different when someone is like new, like, you know, newly out, new to the community, like maybe hasn't, I mean, especially if you're coming out later in life and you don't have like a big queer community, that it's like, it's hard to explain that sense of like exactly why I'm like, I just want to be on this call for like forever, because I'm like, there's something about that ability to like give each other shit about the stuff that you know doesn't really matter at all in the grand scheme of like really being queer, you know? But that like, but it's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's fun to pretend like it is, you know, like, and that's sort of like exactly what you said, like that tongue-in-cheekness of it that like I feel like probably gets lost on people who haven't been around enough to like understand that that's what it is, you know, that like that's all it is. And there's that sense of like you can push the boundaries of like that community and give each other a hard time about it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's, I mean, even with some of our conversations that we've had on the podcast, it's been interesting to get feedback about our, you know, unpopular opinions and everything, and like just seeing the different places that people come from with it and everything, and just even explaining, you know, my perspective and taking in like what people say about it. Like, I don't know if you guys have listened to the Chick-fil-A episode where that was my.
I haven't listened to that one yet. No.
Yeah. Oof. Ooh.
We got something good coming up. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's certainly unpopular and for very real reasons. But I say, like, I like Chick-fil-A because I grew up with Chick-fil-A. It's delicious. I'm also a Black queer woman. If I took a stance against every company, and it's very timely now since there's like social media coming up about, or just content coming out about the businesses that fund Trump. But again, it's a slippery slope. Like I wouldn't have a lot of things I could actually, you know, give my money to, because Jesus Christ, like it would literally be nothing left. And Chick-fil-A is delicious. It's just delicious to me. I will eat other places that have chicken sandwiches and all that. But like one of our coworkers, you know, wanted to talk about that and just saying like, obviously it's damaging what they're doing and what they fund and everything. And I was like, I totally understand that. But again, I think that's our difference sometimes in perspective because we have different identities. I was like, I'm a Black queer woman. Like, again, this would start a whole thing for me. I would like have to boycott a lot of things. And I was like, I understand the anger around Chick-fil-A, but sometimes I'm like, we could use that in other places too. Like there's other worse Death Stars out there that are like fucking up the world for us and our quality of life. Chick-fil-A is just not, delicious. That's not delicious. That is not delicious. So, you know, yeah. And also since I am from the South, there's a lot of queer people who still work at Chick-fil-A. Like it's still, you know, it has one of the higher minimum wages in the country. They're always really good with their service. Horribly owned, but it's like we're not stopping, you know, going to Walmart. Spotify is a big not supporter, but funds Trump. There's so many things. We know these companies do that. So that's my thing where it's just like, I know it's not popular, but we could have those conversations. And I haven't gotten any like bad backlash so far, but like, yeah, there's people like, I see your opinion. I don't agree at all, but we're agreeing to disagree, which is totally fine. Like, it's totally fine. So, yeah, we have to have room for that, though.
Yeah, and there's like very little room for that currently.
Yeah.
Like for even the most minor things. So if you start small, like maybe we can have more bigger conversations where people actually like listen to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than, yeah. I'm like, Chick-fil-A is the stepping stone to a better world. but maybe it is.
It's certainly delicious. Listen, in mine,
I will
this
say,
is
I'm like,
purely,
I can agree with Kris, but Chick-fil-A is delicious.
And it is literally, my opinion is purely motivated on like food and me just being a fat ass. And I was just like, hey, because my coworker said that too, where it's just like, what about Popeyes fried chicken sandwich?
And I was like this doesn't stop us from eating Popeyes.
Yeah, I'll eat that too.
It doesn't stop us from caring.
Come on down.
These things. Because she was so hurt. She started a group chat with us, and that once Kris kind of flipped that perspective on her, because she is a cis white woman and she is a bit older than us. And we were just like, yeah, well, think about all of the stuff that we would have to stop doing
Lots
or
of
boycott
things.
because of the intersectionality of our identities.
Yeah.
It is one of the things that I think like the Good Place got so very right is like it is like ethical consumption with our dollars in today's world is like almost impossible. Like it's pretty darn close to impossible to like actually stop your money from going to. I mean, you can try to direct your money towards good causes as much as you can, but it is really hard to avoid things that you know are terrible.
Yeah.
Like just categorically are like bad for the world, should not exist. And you're like, but also I need it. So what do? You know, it's like, how do you, it's like, what are you going to do? Like not buy a car, not buy clothes, not buy food, not buy
a phone. You have phones. We know that there's some parts in here that are just, like, so, I mean, and again, I'm fine with, boycotting the right things. And I'm fine that people do boycott Chick-fil-A. And I don't try and make it as a, I don't know. I don't go so much.
I was like, you don't buy them a shake and then set it in front of them and be like, drink it.
Yeah, like I'm just like, it's fine. Like that's one less person in line. But it's it's up to everybody. Like I get it. Like I totally get it. And I'm like, I would also never try and convince anybody, especially a queer person, to like, no, but it's good. Like I am not convincing you. I'm like, no, absolutely, they're awful. Up at the top, not the food, but they're all like the food's great, but leadership trash.
Yeah,
trash.
Valid. Is it time for our Q&A, Lee?
I think it might be time.
I feel like it's time.
As long as our expert guests are ready.
I'm ready.
Always
I'm a little
ready.
scared.
Okay.
I love a Q&A.
Q and gay.
We'll ask you, and then we'll put them up on our Twitter for our listeners to answer as well. So starting with question 1. Shana and Kris, what is your favorite queer urban dictionary term out of the following choices? A, diet stud, B, uncork the pork, C, studs band, or D, breeders?
Oh, I had the choice and then you chose breeders.
Yeah, I know. Breeders is fun, huh? Even breeders like breeders.
You
They're
literally,
like, wow,
you got me
breeders,
on
huh?
breeders.
Yeah.
Like, that
There's
whole
a show
first
now
episode.
called Breeders. I mean, it came out recently, but I don't know. It's just something about calling them breeders. It's just
so satisfying.
Just feels great.
Yeah.
Just saying it. Yeah. And them getting it as well. Like,
yeah. Like the texts that I got from some of my straight friends and like my brother and stuff afterwards, they were like, I get it. And I feel some type of way about it, but I also get it. And I don't know how to feel.
You're like, I also identify with it.
It was
Yes,
so-
that is
like,
that's
it was
me.
such a
That's
great
my
thing.
straight label.
Such a
right.
That's it.
That's
That's
me.
I feel like it gives that similar sense of satisfaction that I now get from like OK Boomer. Like it does kind of just like scratches a little itch that you didn't know was there. You know?
Yes. Solid that. Yeah.
I'm surprised Uncork the Pork didn't get some
I know
more love,
it was
but-
going to be Uncork the Pork. It was,
funny.
but then
You know?
it's like I do use breeders way more now, thanks to Kris. Like that was a thing that was not really in my vocabulary, and then that came through. Like I loved the reaction that Uncork the Pork gets from the people, but I love my everyday usage of breeders.
There you go. All right, question number 2. Do you know your chart, your astrological chart?
Oh, God.
Yes or
I
no?
actually don't know my chart, God.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Wow.
We
After
are talking.
all of that,
I'm talking to the
after all of
audience.
that.
I know my sun and moon signs, though. I'm like an Aquarius. Is that part? That is the chart, right? Isn't that the chart? Is the sun and moon sign?
Yeah,
Well,
you don't.
there's more.
Most people know their sun, their moon, and their rising.
If you
Oh,
knew,
see, I don't.
then you would know.
I
your
haven't
chart.
gotten that far, but I know my sun. Oh, I'm sorry. My moon is Aquarius, and I forgot what my sun was. My wife told me it, and
Your
I
sun
forgot.
is your sign.
Your
The sun is the sign. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, my moon sign is Aquarius. So
Mm.
that's all. That's as
Okay.
far as I go right now.
Yeah,
Shannon,
that's a hard
do you
no
know
for
your
me.
chart?
That's a hard no.
Shannon's like,
She
I
will know her
purposefully
chart
don't. I
soon.
crossed it out.
Is this team bonding that we're gonna have to do?
Yeah.
You're gonna make me
Yeah,
do?
yeah.
Yeah.
At the retreat, we're all going to do our charts
Yes.
together. It's
Okay.
going to be great.
This is gonna be great.
Question 3. What is your bad queer moment? A, I've never had a long distance relationship. B, I've never U-hauled. C, I've never been to Pride. Or D, I don't wear gay hats.
Oh, I have 2.
You can tell us both.
I was like, I've never U-hauled, and I've never worn gay hats.
I think that's mine
Nice.
too. Yeah, that's mine too.
Yeah.
How
I was like, my
long
girlfriend and I have actively just been like, everybody thought that I was moving in with her because my roommates are moving out and I'm getting new ones. And they were like, aren't you moving with your girlfriend? I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah,
Like,
I
don't say
definitely
that.
thought
And then
that
you
was
say
gonna
that to
happen.
her, and she's like just as disgusted. Like we're both like, no, we cannot.
And how long have you been together?
We've been together like a little over a year and a half now.
Okay.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
you made it past the U-Haul point without
Sure
U-Hauling.
Sure did.
Impressed.
That's wonderful. Another success story.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Question number 4. What kind of queer are you? A good queer, B, a bad queer, or C, a queer queer?
Ooh, it's, that's C. I think I'm a queer.
Mm.
I think I'm a queer.
I think you're a queer.
I think I'm a queer.
What are you, Shana?
I'm definitely a bad queer.
Yeah, she's bad.
I'm
sure.
I'm,
Shana embraces it.
I'm the
Yeah.
worst. There are so many things, like, and I'm in so many different queer groups as well. Like, I'm in the sporty ones, I'm in the musical one, like, because I also like got my degree in music and stuff. So I was with the theater gays. It was just all of it. I just would bring up stuff, and people would just be like, "What? This?" Like audible gasp. All of it. So,
Okay,
yeah, I'm
you got
definitely
your
a bad
degree in
queer.
music and you have not yet joined one of our virtual karaoke nights?
Ooh.
Next
Well,
one.
sign me up.
Wow, there's virtual karaoke?
We've done 2. It's been great.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying.
Just letting you guys know I have a mic and I have a voice.
I'm
And
ready
as long
for
as
that.
we're not,
Actually,
as long as
that's
we're
what
not
I'm ready
shooting
for.
a movie, then
That's what I'm ready for.
game.
As long as it's singing for the sake of singing and not singing
Yes.
a musical.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
I was like, Chris, why haven't we had any karaoke events?
I know. Well, we're probably
What are you
actually
waiting
not
for?
even compatible friend-wise, and we don't even know it yet.
We don't.
That's probably
so
why.
that's why. That's why.
You don't want to schedule too far in advance.
True.
You have to wait till you see the chart.
Yep.
Yeah.
These are the
We'll
things.
see.
So everything's on hold now.
Yeah,
Until
we
that.
gotta see if we're even compatible as friends. So, get to this.
Well, while you figure that out, question 5. What is your unpopular queer opinion? A, I'm not a fan of the pride flag. B, I hate astrology. C, I hate musicals. Or D, I don't watch RuPaul's Drag Race.
A and C for me.
Then mine were B and D.
Yeah. Even though
I'm
I
really
don't
excited
actually,
to see how
I
people
don't-
vote on that.
I don't watch RuPaul's Drag.
I was like, you don't
Race
watch
either.
RuPaul's. We,
Yeah,
like, agreed
that
with
one
that.
as well. Yeah. So
I was about to
wow.
say, Chris is all of the above.
Yeah, just about. Jesus.
I have a question about that. Is RuPaul's Drag Race really a straight girl, gay man thing? Because
Yes.
I've
Yes.
never seen RuPaul's
I
Drag
don't watch it
Race.
either.
Yes, it is. It
Welcome
is.
to the club.
It
I
is.
know lesbians who do though. I know lesbians who are super into it, but I have never watched it.
I've
Is-
never seen it.
It is
Yeah.
definitely in that category of
My
straight
little
gay
cousin
man.
loves it. That I mentioned that's queer. She tries like weekly to get me to watch it, and I was like, I just can't. But I don't like. I mean, drag queens. I'll go to like a drag brunch and everything, but if I had to pick something, it would be voguing and ballroom. I would want to see and stuff like that. Like I don't know. I just no.
Isn't
I'm
that
in
show
awe,
coming
but
out?
I'm just like,
Oh, the show
okay.
is out. Legendary
already
on
out?
HBO Max.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh,
it is
hell
out.
yes.
So,
It is out.
Yeah, I'm cool with that, but no. And you know, I know they're talented on that show. I've heard great things, but pass. Yeah, pass.
They are
No,
very
not for me. Not for me.
Valid. Remember, you can give us your own answers to this episode's Q&A questions on our Twitter at Let's Hang Out Pod. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Like Lee said, we probably would stay on this call forever if we could.
Forever. But tell all of our listeners where they can find you, where they can find the podcast.
Yes, we are everywhere at Bad Queers Pod. So on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on everywhere that you can download podcasts. That's where we are. And if you ever get lost, just find us at her social app, and it will guide you back to us.
Perfect.
This was so
Yes.
much fun, you guys. This was really fun.
This is so great,
This was
honestly.
fun. This was so much fun. Ellie, I really want to find you a hat. I'm going to think about it long and hard and just like, there's a hat out there.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then
there's a hat out
Lee,
there.
you've committed to like at least 2 shirts and a hat now for us.
Yeah,
So
I think so.
Yeah,
Something
so
like
you
that.
have to, yeah. you
we're
have
gonna
do
make sure to
some
follow up.
designs.
These are the things. We have action plans after this.
Let me hear you say hip, 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 well, yeah.
We love hearing from all of you. We love continuing to build this community, so we like to shout out a couple things every episode or people who have reached out to us that just made us smile recently. And we want to start with Bethany, who sent us not just one message, like many messages on Instagram. Each one of them sweeter and more beautiful than the last. I know Ellie and I both were just verklempt at these messages. So they talked a lot about how we are shining light into their world. Bethany, you are shining light into our world. It made us both really, really happy and emotional reading everything you had to say.
I'm getting emotional right now. It really was. I said this to Bethany on Instagram, but it was just a day where I was feeling really down, and just reading your message really, your light rubbed off on me as well. So it was really, really nice reading that message and also getting to talk back and forth with you. They're an a cappella nerd as well, of course, choir nerd. So we got to talk about choir and all that fun stuff. And so
they said they like my Willow and Tara song, and I almost cried.
I know.
And it takes a lot to make me cry, so.
It doesn't take that much to make me cry, but it's okay. But seriously, I really do want you to know how much your message meant to us, Bethany. I also want to shout out Emma, who sent us another message on Instagram. They're a Supercorp fan who started listening when we had Abnormally Adam on the show. They said they pretty recently came out to their family. And so I just wanted to say a shout out to Emma. I know coming out can be really difficult, and we're here for you. Whatever you need, whenever you need a smile in your ears, we are here.
And lastly, we want to shout out Miranda, who also sent us a really great email. I wanted to shout out how you talked about dreaming of the day where you can run down the streets of a big gay city with a rainbow flag cape around your shoulders, hugging all the middle-aged people, giving out free mom hugs and free dad hugs at Pride. So I just want to say, Miranda, you ever find yourself at Pride with me, I will give you a free mom hug. No questions asked.
I'll give you a free zaddy hug.
But we want to say again how much we absolutely love hearing from all of you. It makes us so happy to know you're out there and to learn about you and to learn your names and to learn your stories. So keep them coming. We can't get enough.
Please do. They really, really make my week. They really do. All right. And we would like to thank our Lesbian Jesus patrons, Tanya Ferguson,
Jess Klaus,
Danny Griswold,
Sarah and Julia,
Carrie Ann Lawrence,
Mark Foster,
Danny Gunlock Tamora,
Alana Rosen,
Kayla Kelly,
Tara Gleason,
and Jacqueline Rose Nishino.
And our King Princess patrons, Lizette Stye,
Amy and Ellen,
Leah Hendley,
and Liz Shen.
And finally, our sponsorship at patron, Wendy K. Bartlett, reminding you to support your local arts and especially your queer arts.
Oh yeah. Remember, you can also find us on all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Let's Hang Out Pod.
You can email us at letshangoutpod@gmail.com.
Or check out our website at letshangoutpod.com.
Don't forget, Porch Pride is happening this week. There's going to be all sorts of events. We'll be posting everything on all of those places we just mentioned all week. So keep an eye out, and we'll see you at Porch Pride on Saturday.
And make sure you post your pictures with the hashtag Porch Pride so we can see your celebration and we can share them on our social media. We also want to remind you that our final episode is on June 29th, and we are going to miss you all so much over the summer. But it's okay. We have all kinds of trivia for you to hang out with us over the summer as well. Don't worry.
Make sure that you subscribe on whatever app you use to listen to podcasts. That way you'll get new episodes as soon as they go up.
We're also posting videos on our YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe at youtube.com/letshangoutpod to catch them.
If you want to help support the podcast, there are so many ways that you can do that. The first one is easy. It is free. Go on the Apple Podcasts app and leave us a rating and a review. It helps new people find the podcast.
You can also help support us on Patreon at bit.ly/lespatreon. I'm sure we're going to have some patron meetups this summer. We had an amazing Dungeons and Dragons meetup with our patrons. We are doing some crazy, lovely, beautiful things with our patrons. So if you want to be a part of that, you can do that at bit.ly/lespatreon.
We also have merch up. If you want to deck yourself out in Les Hangout swag, you can find tees and tanks and totes and mugs and all sorts of cool stuff. That is all at bit.ly/lesshop.
If you want to find us individually, you can find me at Ellie Brigida on Instagram and Twitter.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at LSH Foster.
With that, I'm Ellie.
And I'm Lee. And let's hang out again soon.
Let's hang out.
Hi, I'm Laura Cathcart Robbins, and I am the host and creator of the podcast Only One in the Room. Every week, my co-host Scott Slaughter and I invite you to join us and lose yourself in someone's incredible only one story. We talk to real people dealing with issues like infertility, the death of a loved one, human trafficking, and women who, fake it. Oh, and we want to be fair, so we talk to celebrities too. Emmy winners like actor John Cryer, supermodels like Amber Valletta, and rock stars like Ryan Dusick. Everyone is invited to share their only one story with our listeners. With 21 seasons and counting, we guarantee you that Only One in the Room has a story that you'll connect with. This podcast is for anyone who has ever felt alone in a room full of people, which is to say that this podcast is for everyone. Download Only One in the Room on Apple or Spotify today.